Morning, friends. When Darlene and I would go camping in the early days, we never washed clothes. We took enough clothes with us that we didn't need to wash. So when we got back home, we'd wash everything there. We had a washing machine and a dryer. We moved to Mentone, and we didn't have any way to wash clothes. In New York, I've been 5.5 weeks in New York City, in Brooklyn. That was a challenging experience. Now, when I washed my clothes there, I had this little laundry card. And what you do is you buy the card, then you load money on it, and when you go to wash clothes, you just stick it in the washing machine. It takes off $3.75. And then once the clothes finish washing, you take them out, you put them in the dryer, take the card, put it back in again. Takes off, $2.75. This is how you wash and dry your clothes. But when we moved out to Mentone, no laundry card, no machines. And we started to think, what are we going to do to wash our clothes? And of course, Darlene and I had the idea, maybe her idea more than mine, to get a wash tub. So I got a wash tub, and I took our dirty clothes down to the creek. Now remember, when we got there, it was like October, November. Took the wash tub down to the creek and began to wash clothes. And it was really interesting as I tried to get the dirt out, because we're working all day. You got blue jeans full of dirt and things, and dirty shirts, and I don't know what to do. I put them into water. I've never washed anything in my life by hand. I got the water, put some soap in it, got the blue jeans. It's just cold. I see my breath blowing. I'm just scrubbing away on the wash pot, and it was an educational experience. Of course, once we got the wash tub, got the idea, as we got the cabin built, was that we were able to move into the cabin in the early stages. I remember it snowed once. The snow came through the wall because I hadn't finished the wall yet. It was cold inside. But we got a wood-burning stove, and once we got those wash tubs, we'd put the tubs by the stove. We got 2 of them, one for Darlene, one for me. We'd fill it full of hot water. We'd boil the water on the stove, put hot water in the tubs, and we'd sit there, and it was kind of like the cowboy movies where the cowboy is sitting in the wash tub. So instead of just washing clothes in the tub helped wash us too. And this is how we spent our early days. This is the last of the muscadine harvest. I've been in New York City for the last 5.5 weeks, and I missed most of the harvest, but I still got a few. And these are the cosmos. Very, very beautiful. It's nice to be back to the flowers, to the garden, to the simple things of nature. We put up a high tunnel in the process of getting some an environment where we can grow food more in the winter. And as you can see, these are our sunflowers. And interplanted with all the sunflowers, if you look closely, you can see some really big squash in there. There it is. Yeah, it's like a 15-pounder. Again, here's a look at the squash. And we got different kinds, Tahitian, butternut, all over the garden. And this is one of my favorite flowers, zinnias. And the bees really like this flower too. You can see, what is that? What is that? Very interesting sights and sounds in the garden. Very, very different world than Brooklyn, New York. So this is the creek where we took our bath. When Darlene and we moved up here, we were living in a car. Darlene was trying to work the soil to begin a garden. I had a book trying to build a little cabin, and it was the time. At the end of the day, we needed a bath. We used to come down here and wash clothes. I washed clothes in this creek for 10 years, just by hand. Not an experience I want to repeat today, but back then it's just what we needed. The more real living close to the land. There was no pomp and circumstance. There was no a surface experience. We were sweating, getting dirty, taking our bath in the creeks, cooking on a little stove as the cabin went up and the crops came in. It was a life-changing experience. But oh, by the way, I was going to show you this picture of the harvest. We're bringing in tomatoes and cucumbers and lemon squash and okra and purple beans and all sweet potatoes, all sorts of stuff. This is just the tip of the iceberg. Our house is full of food that's coming in. The floor inside is full of watermelons. When I got back from Brooklyn, Darlene said I was praying that we might have some watermelons that would get ripe after you got home, because we had a lot of them coming ripe when I was away, didn't get to eat them. And Darlene was, the prayer was answered. We brought in, harvested 12 huge watermelons. I mean, I'll put a picture up. These things are huge. And so we weighed the last 7. We've eaten 5 already. We weighed the last 7. They weighed about 200 pounds altogether. It's a lot of watermelon. And so we got the sweet potatoes coming in, and the pears are coming in, and the muscadines are coming in, and now we have a washing machine. But you know, I got an experience out there at that creek that I would not trade for anything on the earth. Because when you have a card like this, and you go into the laundromat and you wash your clothes, you're not getting any kind of experience. I got an experience by that wash tub. Not only sitting in nature, not only the exercise in the sunshine, but as I was sitting and thinking about things, this was the days before I knew Christ. I thought some stains are more stubborn than others. It's really hard to get some things out of your clothes. Same with the soul. Some things in the soul are very, very difficult to remove. I call it the stain of sin. And the Lord, you know, He's got His own wash tub, and He washes us. Revelation 1:5, that He washed us from our sins in His own blood. That's strong soap. But He uses the scrubbing process on us. And in Brooklyn, I was getting scrubbed down. Good morning, friends. This morning I'm in Brooklyn. As you can see, New York's a busy place and a lot of noise. You know, there have been some very painful experiences in my life. I call it the scrubbing process, where the Lord is trying to change our hearts, and often it involves difficult experiences, because the truth is, you know, a lot of times it's the crisis, the challenge, the difficult experience that turns us to God. And in the challenging times I've had since being a Christian, I knew right where to go. I remember when Darlene and I were in Belize. This is the first real missionary, you know, outreach that I was involved in. We had just been baptized into the church. We were just new at everything. Hardly understand the Bible, but we had some sort of shallow experience with God. We were now into the church. We were invited to go down to Belize and to begin work on some kind of project there, a building type project. And gotten down there and had a lot of firsts down there. It's the first time to ever ride in a car that didn't have a hood or a trunk. First time to ride in a car and get covered with limestone. First time to sleep in a bamboo hut. First time to sleep under a mosquito net. First time to use an outhouse where, as you look down through the hole in the ground, you see bats flying. This is down in the cavern underneath the outhouse. I had a lot of experiences. Day 2 or 3, we were picking mangoes. My eyes were so swollen with this mango sap I could hardly see. It was hot as blazes. Mosquitoes were everywhere. To be honest with you, it was a 30-day trip. After a day or 2, I just wanted to go home. So, yeah, I was getting a scrubbing experience. So I went to talk to Darlene one night. We get inside the mosquito net, figured out how to use it real fast. You get inside the mosquito net, we're talking. And then we hear some kind of, just like the second day we're there, second night, we hear this kind of like paper crinkling sound. Darlene says, "You get up and see what that is." I got up. We brought a loaf of bread down with us in a paper bag. Opened up, only thing left were the crumbs and the cockroaches. They'd eaten the whole loaf of bread. And as I came back to bed, I told Darlene, I got some bad news. I said, the cockroaches have eaten up our bread. I said, but the good news, these tarantulas crawling up the walls, some of them have a cockroach in their mouth, so maybe they're taking care of the cockroach problem. I got back in that net and I said, Lord have mercy, I just want to go home. So what I did, I got up in the quiet of the night, in the peace of the night, went out and stood by the shower, just in a pipe coming through a brick wall. You know, I saw some scorpions in the shower. I'm sitting there outside the hut, to shower. There's the belfry and the bats in the outhouse. I'm sitting there and say, Lord, I just want to go home. In day 2 of 30, I just want to go home. And the Lord spoke to my heart. And He said, Lew, you know, when you have challenges, when you have problems, you know just what to do. You're praying, you're coming to me. But all the people all around these communities, they don't know, and I want you to tell them. And that was really health evangelism, my start in health evangelism. People don't know. John 17:3, this is life eternal, that they might know Thee. You don't know God. You don't really understand how He's a providential Lord that cares about us. Even the hairs, Matthew 10:30, on our head are numbered. To know God changes everything. And often the scrubbing process is used by God to bring us to a place where we desire Him to take out the stains, take out the spots. So, dear friends, may God give you an experience today. And if He's scrubbing on your hearts, don't worry. When it's said and done, in retrospect, you look back, you're going to say what looked like a curse has turned out to be a blessing.